A hard question confronts South Asia. Was today's massive funeral turnout in Dhaka only an expression of grief or a warning sign of a deeper radicalization that's currently underway in Yunus-led Bangladesh? Because thousands gathering at the heart of the capital for Osman Hadi, convenor of Inqilab Moncho, was not a routine farewell, viewers. It was a show of street power, slogans, mobilization, and also political messaging turned a funeral into a public spectacle, raising concerns about how dissent is being channeled and who is benefiting from it. And more troubling were the words from the top. Interim chief advisor Muhammad Yunus did not merely mourn, he elevated by framing Hadi's political ambitions as a lesson for the nation and speaking of fulfilling his quote-unquote pledge, because Yunus appeared to sanctify a figure widely seen as an anti-India Islamist radical. Supporters went further, openly projecting Hadi as a martyr, and Yunus also called him a martyr. But this is where the alarm bells ring, viewers. When political violence is followed by mass mobilization and moral glorification, democracies weaken, they do not strengthen. And Bangladesh was born rejecting extremism, but tonight the question is unavoidable. Is that legacy being quietly rewritten on the streets of Dhaka? Now, to give us more insights, we have Suhas Chakma, Director, Rights and Risks Analysis Group. We also have Major General Rajan Kochar, Defense and Geopolitical Expert. We have Salahuddin Shoaib Chowdhury, Editor of Blitz Bangladesh, live from Dhaka. My first question to you is, Mr. Suhas Chakma, what do you make of this, large mobilization for an extremist, for an anti-India Islamist? What do you look at? How do you look at this, gathering of thousands of people pouring onto the streets?
No, I think it's not the mobilization of the people which is concerning. What is more concerning is the declaration which they made. They have given 48 hours deadline to Home Advisor Jahangir Alam Chaudhary and his deputy to arrest the alleged killers of Hadi, or they have to resign. So they have to resign because they are not going to make this arrest. And instead of these two persons, Jamaat-e-Islami is going to put someone from their rank as the Home Minister of Bangladesh. I think in the entire the interim government, the only person who matters, who is indispensable, is Dr. Yunus. So all other advisors can go and come. So we are going to see 48 hours time the change of the Home Minister of Bangladesh. That's already written, and there will be massive crackdown on anybody who opposes. So we are going to witness, I think, massive human rights violations of anybody, remotely linked or not supporting the government. And I think this morning also one thing has happened outside this, the gathering. That's the Bangladesh Shilpakala Academy has been closed down indefinitely. So when you have the Shilpakala Academy being closed down, and the government doesn't say a word why it has been closed down, it basically means that the fundamentalists have taken over the power in the country, and very soon we should not be surprised if in the streets of Dhaka, the women who are roaming around freely, speaking themselves freely, are actually forced to wear burqas and etc. So these two incidents, if we look at it, the ultimatum given to the Home Advisor and the way the Bangladesh Shilpakala Academy has been closed down, both are very concerning. And I think in a way it raises a particular question, because who has killed Hadi is not known, but he wanted to contest from a constituency which is Dhaka. You basically have the BNP leaders who want to contest from it. Sadek Kayam wants to contest from it. Then obviously, there should be a true inquiry as to who are the true killers of Mr. Hadi. But at the same time, I think it's very clear his death has been used as a political weapon by the Jamaat-e-Islami to basically take control of the entire interim government. That's more concerning.
Well, Major General Rajan Kochar, radical elements and radical narratives are gaining ground in Bangladesh. How much of a risk is the spillover from Bangladesh to our eastern borders?
Thank you, Deepak, and my compliments to Suhas for a very wonderful exposition he has actually given of the internal situation in Bangladesh. Let us look at the India's border today. 4,096 kilometers of border, and there are 5 states of India which are on the borders with Bangladesh, and most of the borders, because I have actually served in that area, I can tell you that most of the borders are porous. They are not like Jammu and Kashmir. We have those kind of counter infiltration grid and a counter terrorism grid. Here the borders are quite open, and people in the villages there, you will be surprised that there is a freedom of movement of people of Bangladesh to India, India to Bangladesh in those border villages. If you look at the three big agreement between India and Bangladesh, you would appreciate that how free flowing has been this agreement. So I think now with the changed circumstances in Bangladesh and what is happening in Bangladesh today, I will take your attention to January 2025 of this year, when General Malik, who is the DG of Pakistan, he came with a very high-powered delegation to Bangladesh. All his senior officers were here. What business has got DG to come to Bangladesh? So it is very apparent now. Lashkar-e-Toiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed are those two terrorist groups which have found a base in Bangladesh. If you remember Sheikh Hasina, 2009 onwards, she dismantled all the terrorist camps, Alpha and all these other subsidiary terrorist camps were demolished in Bangladesh. Today, there is a resurgence of this terrorist camps in Bangladesh, and I think that's the greatest threat to India. We have already established, because chicken neck is one area which is very, very sensitive to India, and which is very, very close to Rangpur of northern part of Bangladesh. You will find that 3 military garrisons already come up there, and the 4th military garrison, today's news, is coming up in Mizoram. So the threat perception, if you look from the point of view of India, is immense, because any kind of instability in Bangladesh is going to cause an inflow of refugees. Do you know there are 13.1 million Hindus in Bangladesh? Sizable, almost 8% of the population of Bangladesh is Hindus. So if you start targeting the minority community in this manner, there is going to be influx of refugees into India. So I think that will be a very, very serious situation on our borders today. And the BSF is actually getting up for this situation. The Bangladesh Rifles is also becoming all of a sudden, very active on the border. So I think in my overall analysis, I would like to conclude with one simple assumption, that what is happening in Bangladesh today is a serious security concern for India. And remember one thing, Bangladesh is not complete without India, because 90% of the land borders of the Bangladesh actually are India-centric. So if this population of Bangladesh thinks that it can survive by creating an anti-India narrative, I think they are into a sort of an illusion, because Bangladesh needs India, and India is a friend of the people of Bangladesh. I would like to conclude my argument. Keep the Bangladesh government on one side and keep the Bangladesh people on one side. We are with the people of Bangladesh. We will do anything for them. whenever they need us, India is there, but we are not going to toe the line of this present disposition in Bangladesh, because they are plunging Bangladesh into darkness. And my friend from Bangladesh is here. I would like to hear his views on this, because whatever is happening in Bangladesh today, the inflation is 9%. The entire economy has gone to shreds. What Sheikh Hasina did for Bangladesh has been undone in the last 18 months. So I think it's a very, very serious situation, and we need to consider this.
That's right, and Sheikh Hasina stood on the side of progress, but what we see now is Bangladesh regressing. Salahuddin Shoaib Chaudhry, we thought that minorities are not safe, but along with the minorities, even journalists like you are not safe. And do you think naturally, Osman Hadi should have been treated as a victim of crime, not as a martyr? But look at what's happening in Bangladesh. Do you think that a Pakistan, style street, politics is taking center stage in Bangladesh, because the economy will also match Pakistan's economy in the coming years if this is the current state of affairs? So what do you think should have originally happened with Hadi's funeral?
Thank you so very much. First of all, I'd like to express my gratitude to you and News9, because yesterday when I appeared on your show, I was talking about a person who instigated attack on Prathamalo and editor, and you asked me his name and I mentioned. And yesterday, Meta has taken down his Facebook account, for which I express my gratitude to you and News9. Now, about today's this janaza, it was actually a flexing of muscle by Yunus and Islamist jihadist conglomerate, and they had a different plan today. They wanted to declare the revolutionary government, and also Yunus would become the supreme leader today. That's why, as part of the blueprint, the jihadis already approached the national parliament house. It was decided that they will ransack and set fire, set the national parliament under fire, but at last moment they have changed it. Now, what is happening in Bangladesh about Hindus or journalists? No, this is every Bengali is at risk now in Bangladesh. And while Yunus is giving a big lecture at the janaza of Osman Hadi, 6 members of our armed forces who were killed in Sudan, their dead bodies returned to this country, and Yunus holds the defense ministry. He even didn't care of going there, paying his respect to our soldiers. So Yunus clearly is an enemy of Bangladesh. And as far as the Hindus, it is not only the Depo Chandra Das incident, but this morning another Hindu was handed over by Islamist police by accusing him of committing blasphemy. So blasphemy, as in Pakistan, blasphemy blasphemy against Hindus and religious minorities is becoming a common practice. And about journalists, any journalist speaking the truth, telling the truth, the regime is bringing charges under Anti-Terrorism Act. Journalists are not terrorists. Journalism is not crime. But Yunus sees us as terrorists because he is following the footprint of Ayatollah Khomeini, Recep Tayyip Erdogan, and of course, Pakistani ISI. I would like to just say in one word, it's not Hindus, it's not journalists. 180 million Bengalis are at risk now. Yunus wants to destroy all of us, and I'm afraid that when you are seeing the janaza of Hadi, I mean, it was well orchestrated and invested, but the graveyard of our freedom fighters are put on fire. They are burning the burial sites of our freedom fighters, who are our real heroes, and they are giving the heroic treatment to someone who does not even deserve it. And why he was buried alongside the grave of our national poet? He is not a national leader, so Yunus does not care anything. In order to remain in power indefinitely, he is going to do anything, no matter whether Bangladesh's own prestige and dignity is hampered and was a big laughing stock in the eyes of the international community.
That's right. And looking at how things are proceeding in Bangladesh, it feels like this is the beginning of the end of the Bangladesh that Sheikh Hasina and Mujibur Rahman built, on the side of progress. Now, Suhas Chakma, if you look at, two different incidents, let me, bring out similarities. In Pakistan, there is street style veto politics. Even in Bangladesh, that is taking center stage. We saw terror operatives being given state funeral, and now we have another anti-India Islamist radical also being given state funeral. How do you look at, these radicals trying to gain the lost ground in Bangladesh?
The radicals know one thing, the Islamists know one thing, the interim government, the chief advisors, and all the advisors who are serving with the interim government know one thing, that in the last 15 months, whatever atrocities which they have committed, whatever corruptions they have committed, if there is a government other than the Jamaati Islami, they shall be prosecuted. So they will do everything to remain in power, and the ideology which is being followed by the interim government headed by Dr. Yunus, and Dr. Yunus himself plays the central role, is to actually reduce Bangladesh to Pakistan and basically use anti-India sentiment as the opium to control the masses. So if you look at Pakistan, if there is no anti-Indianism in Pakistan, Pakistan itself will not exist, meaning the Pakistan army will not exist. So what Jamaati Islami is trying to do is basically bring back or establish the same kind of a situation where they will continue to rule the country or run the country based only with one agenda. That's hate India, will try to, destroy India, divide India, etc. So this is part of the same strategy, and this is the same thing which is being implemented by the ISI. Therefore, I think my fear is at the end of this whole process, once they come up with the new home minister after 48 hours, because since they have asked for it, it's a question of, prestige. If they cannot ensure the, resignation of the home advisor, Jahangir Alam Chaudhary, then, they will lose the face. So the whole thing is to basically ensure that you have the home minister under your control, then create a situation either not to hold elections or hold elections in such a manner that only Jamaati Islami wins the elections. So even if you rig the elections, even if you do not allow anybody else, there will be an audience or the original supporters of this whole episode, that's the Western countries, they will say the election was free and fair. Even if the election was not free and fair, let it continue for some time. So they will not have absolute majority, because if Jamaati Islami has absolute majority, they have a constituency back home to explain. So basically it will be NCP plus Jamaati Islami, and you cannot ensure that if you have the current home advisor who is very close to the BNP. So they are going to replace key people in the administration, and that's why I was raising this question. The entire episode of the murder of Osman Hadi and etc. These are not new in politics, and makes it very suspicious. It is as if Osman Hadi was not killed, then possibly free and fair elections would have been held. People would be filing their nominations. Everything would be running smoothly towards February, 12th. Now everything has been taken backseat. It's
That's
Osman
right.
Hadi, etc.
And